taking you inside the Brady briefing room in this Slice News exclusive video footage. A group of White House reporters had enough of their questions being ignored in press briefings. Their frustrations had come to a tipping point when a front row colleague signaled to the press secretary to call the session to an end. Unfamiliar with this long-standing tradition, more than half of the reporters who did not get a chance to ask their questions disapproved, wanting an explanation as to why a peer was given the timekeeping task. As their voices united to demand a more fair and equitable approach, President of the White House Correspondents Association, Steve Portnoy, intervened. But it didn't stop there.
Is this a White House Correspondents Association issue?
No, it's a tradition in our press corps that dates back decades for the senior wire reporter to conduct the briefing and end it when we feel we've had enough. Clearly, we have felt that we have not had enough. So there might be an opportunity for what we as a press corps to collectively decide when we've had enough and to send that signal on our behalf to the AP man or woman so that he or she can signal to the press secretary that we have had enough. I think it's appropriate for us collectively as a unit, as a press corps, to reach that accommodation.
We need to have more questions.
Because really be nice
Stephen, because actually sometimes I shout question, I don't want to. But when you have five rows and you don't have any single question and people have 6-7 questions, it can be really hard. I know that some people get upset when I do that. But if they come to this briefing room for 3 months and they don't have any single question.
You're right.
And they spend the money to come here every day. It's not great. So I'm just saying that it would be great, and I always suggest to her, it would be great to have a few questions in the spread question around the room, not just the first 2 rows and they have like
Clearly,
6-7 questions.
There's no doubt that all of us are frustrated by the fact that we don't have the opportunity.
No, actually, it's not that broad a question. I said, Mr. President, I know everyone's trying here. It's a rare time that we're together. And maybe it just came to a head today because, as everyone knows, we've all lived with years, and we understand that the first few rows do ask a lot of the general questions that we all have. I get it. It's just that perhaps today it just went a little far. So it's not that we're all frustrated we can't ask. It is kind of a narrow matter here that if you could maybe figure out a way to once and for all, maybe to figure out a sense of equity.
Well, and frankly, look, that's a responsibility that falls each one of us. Each one of us who gets recognized for a question ought to recognize that he or she has a responsibility to keep it tight. And I think that that's a message we could send.
We've brought this up before, then it just doesn't seem to be going, the message doesn't seem to be getting through. I have been bringing it up for 4 years personally.
No, I agree with you.
Just one question per reporter. What about that?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody else how to do their jobs, right? I don't think that's why I was elected to lead this association. I don't think it's incumbent upon me to tell any of my colleagues from organizations that have been here a lot longer than any one of us have. They should be limited in their questioning. I mean, this is all about making sure that the public is represented with a variety of questions. I think the public interest is best served by going to the back of the room. I've said that myself in the press secretary's office repeatedly.
Yes.
I have repeatedly articulated that.
I think.
Sure. I mean, look, the fact is, I mean, this is why we went through the seating and review process, 6
And you
months
did a
ago.
great job of that.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Right. The whole,
Really, they ought to just kill out the back 3 rows, and then, because they're not gonna get called on, and make things a little more spacious like the State Department briefing room, because why bother? Cramming us all in here to be service potted plants.
This is, there's a real important exercise here, and the idea is that each one of us is here to ask questions on behalf of the public. Our respective audiences, whether they're on cable television, or on the internet, or on radio, or only on Twitter. The whole idea here is to make sure that we have the opportunity, and the fact is, we can only do what we can do, which is ask, advocate, but we can't decide.
Actually, there is a potential solution, Mr. President. If everybody, we're just talking here, no one's mad, but today does represent a tipping point in the 100 years I've come here. Maybe given everything and the needs of the front row, which I'm sensitive to ask multiple questions, maybe the time-honored tradition, and Helen Thomas, don't kill me, of having the senior wire reporter end the briefing, maybe to make things going, we end that tradition and let the White House end the briefing.
Frankly, that is something that is up to the White House to decide.
You're saying you were acting as an agent of Jen?
Look.
So
No, you know what? Please don't. Wait, time out.
Is that what you said?
No. Look.
I'm not trying to make it personal. I'm saying
Except
if there
that
is a tradition.
look, here's what I can tell you is standard. Most briefings are 45 minutes. I think everyone should get a question. As the AP reporter, I will do whatever I can if you have a question to make sure it gets asked. If it doesn't happen today, I'll do it later. I volunteer and I make that commitment. This briefing today was 43 minutes, a little bit over that. It was up to me. Could have gone on all day.
Wasn't it up to you? Was it not up to you?
No, I'm
Was it not up to you then?
No, but, no, that's why.
You're saying it's not up to you?
No, time out, because I'm also respectful of other people's schedules in order to ensure that
You
other
need your
reporters
deadlines.
outside the briefing.
Well, then let's,
listen,
I have
not
an
you.
idea, like, let's just be,
Right.
let's just be collegial here. And Mr. President, I think the solution is, and you don't deserve to have this on you.
That's
It's not
exactly
your
right.
job, you don't, no one of us work for the White House, and I understand all the traditions that we have here. Oh my God, I'm sure we could do a historian report on the tradition. Maybe it's time to end your tradition, and Jen and her colleagues are fully capable of saying, I've got to go now, and let's just end it. No one deserves to have to feel that responsibility. So could we think about just letting the thing end when the White House wants it to end?
I think that when Jen came in as press secretary, she made a conscious decision to try to honor the longstanding traditions of the room. She obviously must have felt, and I'm sure she does today, that it was either in our interest or something that we would have preferred. Obviously, the people before us have a different view of that.
Could you speak to my suggestion?
Right.
Okay, I have a narrow suggestion, very specific, so that everybody could at least feel that they had a shot. Okay, I'm not even complaining about the first two rows, God bless you all, I understand the dynamics here. I'm just saying, very baby steps. Can we maybe think about ending the tradition of having one of our own end the briefing and let the White House end the briefing?
So that is
Will
a
you address
decision
that?
for the White House press secretary to make.
Well,
I'm not gonna suggest.
Wait, then, here's, if one of our own never ended the briefing, what would have happened?
Well, I would hope that the briefing would continue, but I will say,
So you're
Josh-
kind of skirting my little narrow question.
Can I just
Well,
say something here?
let-
too?
let-
So like part of the problem is that the briefing gets postponed and delayed and delayed
Correct.
and delayed, right?
yes.
So we're all primed for something to happen and then it doesn't happen and then the time that is there between the next event, there's something going on at 3:30 now that is important to a lot of us. To, here at the White House. So the time is being pressured by these continual delays, so maybe we could also mention that.
There are a number
But
of
could
things
you
we can
address
mention.
this little baby step I'm suggesting?
I will think it over.
And then I just want to add,
But before we do, I want to make a point. I think that Josh is right. We all have jobs to do. It's not right that one reporter should command the floor and hold it for too long. It's not fair to any of us.
I don't want, I'm
But
just saying-
we all, in 25 minutes, there were millions of people across the country who will be listening to CBS radio stations that will not be hearing me on the air because
Well,
I won't
know,
have
Mr.
time to.
But you can
President,
leave.
the duties of the office
Well,
are great.
respect.
But
what I'm trying to say
just answered my narrow little question, and now I finally have it, you're going to consider it. Let's not do the whole world of things that could be
May I offer
done.
one?
Tiny little-
and specialty media needs an opportunity. I've been here on my third president and people don't even know my name. That's significant to me in this Women's History Month as an African American woman.
Yes, ma'am.
It's significant to me as a person who represents Christian media, African American media, all kinds of media. And I never get an opportunity to bring some of these key issues that are unique to my audiences with an S to the table so that maybe some of my peers can also find out what we are looking into and more broadly report on some of these other things, even though they're unique.
Ultimately-
One last,
Go
I
ahead.
think we all are very grateful for your leadership of the WHCA and for the role
Yes.
the WHCA plays.
I am.
I think that we all recognize as adults that we more or less get the briefing that the briefer intends for us to have.
Right.
Okay? I think to Lynn's point, the only thing I would take issue with what you have said to date is that it is the decision of the White House briefer as to whether or not the leading wire service correspondent provides that end at the time that they designate. That is not the White House briefer's decision. What comes out of the mouth of the senior wire service correspondent at any given time is the decision of that individual.
Right.
So I think we've had a great robust exchange, and I think it's probably best if it's conducted within the confines of the WHCA process, and we all go meet deadlines now.
We have a large Christian audience.